Anton, what's up, brother?
Hey, how are you?
Good, man.
Good.
Yeah, really excited to have you on. I think Sleepagotchi's been kind of loosely on our radar for a while, but saw some kind of stats come across the timeline this week that made me very anxious and excited to talk to you and hear more. So you're the founder of Sleepagotchi, which is a sleep app that makes building healthy sleep habits easy, fun, and rewarding. I think I saw you guys have over 100,000 users across iOS and Android, and you're the third top grossing health and fitness app on the Google Play Store. So seems
Yeah, yeah.
very like awesome, meaningful traction, which is sick. So yeah, can you just give us an overview of how the product works? Because I think it's probably much more than what people would have in their head if they just think about like a sleep tracking
Uh,
product.
absolutely. Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me. Really excited to be here. And second of all, yeah, we are building Sleepagotchi, which where we gamify sleep and throwing every single incentive we can come up with for you to go to bed on time, for you to wake up on time. And when you mean incentives, it's better story, better adventure progression for your virtual pet inside Sleepagotchi, and it's also free incentives like NFTs and strategically issued tokens for our users. And we launched our open beta 2 weeks ago, and so far the traction has been really fantastic. It blew our expectations. We reached today. We have as of today, we have 160,000 users, so installations. We have 50,000 daily active users, so people who use us daily, and they come from literally 150, 160 countries. In around 10 countries, we were top 100 already health and fitness app, and a few we were top 10. We are quite big in Philippines, interestingly for us, but also quite big in Japan, in the US, Brazil, and then the CIS region. As we had before, we actually had to build like a Telegram app that was also viral and went viral on Telegram, and we funneled all those users into the main app. So really exciting times, and I can't wait to go on chain very soon as well.
So I'm curious where this idea came from. I know you spent some time at Duolingo, so I'm sure there's some habit tracking opportunities that you sort of saw there and maybe have learned some lessons from. But why sleep and why rewards around sleep?
Yeah, very good question. So I spent probably my whole career in two areas, either in Web3 or crypto, or in the gamification of stuff. So my thesis was for the gamification, how can you use gaming, which sometimes can have like dark patterns for you to keep like hours and hours, like playing the next round, getting there, and really wasting time for some individuals. And my thesis in my career was how can we channel this energy into something positive, into positive change. So first I worked at Gismart, which was one of the fastest growing companies in Europe around gamifying of piano education. And then I went to Duolingo to gamify languages. And as I was like, actually starting at Duolingo, Steppen was, popping off on Solana. It was spring, summer 2022. And I thought to myself, wow, I mean, you can, like, Duolingo is like the leader in using gaming to like really force you to learn a language and pick up something good. And I saw Steppen and I saw the Web3 incentives that they are throwing out. And, we can discuss a lot of things about sustainability. They were the first ones. We respect them for being the first ones and for showing us many new things. And this was inspiration. So really kind of, Duolingo plus the Steppen approach towards walking. And we saw, look, running and walking is now taken by Steppen at that time. So what else can we gamify? We actually started very boring with water tracking. And I tried to water track my intake for like 3-4 weeks at a time, speaking to users, realized A, it's super hard to track, B, is just nobody really cares about water intake that much, except a very specific demographic. But everybody, and with water especially, was like hard to track. Like it was just, you had to buy like a smart water bottle. You had to, like, if you were like having like a Coke, do you pour that in? If you have a beer, do you pour that in? Like, what do you do? How you track it? And then the insight came, what's the easiest to track? Sleep is the easiest to track because alarm clock is a proxy for sleep. Actually, your phone usage, because last thing I do before I go to bed is I go to X. First thing in the morning I go to X, right? So it's a perfect proxy for my sleep pattern. So there we go. And that's how the insight came that we should go towards sleep. And there are other benefits that make sense for us, like it's a very clear routine in the morning, super easy to track, and it's also in the zeitgeist. Like 10 years ago, nobody cared about sleep. Everybody was like, yo, grind 4 hours a day, hustle culture, sleep is for losers. Now it's vice versa, right? Huberman and all the other, like, the podcasts kind of flipped it around. So now sleep is cool.
feel like the X usage may be the number one contributor to bad sleep for both of us in the beginning and end of our day. Uh,
Um, with Sleepagotchi, you mean, or
no, just I think if you probably the most impactful thing you could do would be to incentivize me not to take my phone into my bed or touch it in the first thing in the morning.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's interesting for us. We saw that users, like most of our users, actually open us first thing in the morning before they open up Instagram, before they open up WhatsApp. So it's very cool for our like product building because hey, we have a morning session guaranteed. Retention is crazy on the cohorts. Like okay, we have 50K users, but it was like 40K a week ago and 25K 2 weeks ago, and retention is really crazy. And two, it's we build mindshare from the morning on, right? If you open up Sleepagotchi and the dino mascot that we have here in the morning, like this is the first thing that you see in the morning. So it's a little bit of the Pudgy Penguin playbook that we take at a different spin as well.
I would love to go a bit deeper into your reward mechanics. Like you mentioned Steppen, which is a famously unsustainable token model. Obviously great when everything's going up and pretty horrible when that turns. So I'm curious how you're using the collectibles. I think you have heroes. You also mentioned, I forget how you said it, but kind of strategically released tokens or something. So I'm curious how that all comes together.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time like studying Steppen. Luckily for us, we share a lot of the early Steppen investors, like Sixman Ventures, Sfermion, a few other angels that back them both. So we kind of know a lot of the kitchen and a lot of the like economics that went inside. With Steppen, they really when you think about Steppen, right, about the rewards you could issue, is why do you use the product? I would say it's utility, it's fun, and financial rewards, speculation. So because Steppen was really strong on the financial speculation, I would say that the gaming part and the utility part wasn't really like a good as a standalone product. So what we realized is that hey, we need to build a very good product. So we spent 3 years, literally 3 years, building a company that can build a great product from a sleep tracking perspective and a great game from a fun perspective and cool social mechanics as well. So an ideal product for us, the token is it makes most sense when the product least needs it to some extent. So even if you take out the token, our product will still work, right? For other reasons, because it has a lot of content, it has like high production quality art. But the token and the Web3 is the cherry in the top. This is what really brings it up. And we have two types of rewards. We have characters that we give out to you, but we also have a virtual room that you portray. So it looks like this over there. So kind of you dino walks around. This is the casual loop. Like you will be able to customize this room freely as you want. We want this item to be NFTs, and you start your morning with getting a random item over here. Right now, those are casual items, but I want to see, the Bonk mascot here. I want to see the Phantom Ghost as a neon sign. I want to see all the cool IPs in this room so people can show them up as well. And then, this is this 1 minute per day core loop. But then if you actually want to grind it, we actually have a story mode. You can see the dino here, you press play, and you go on large adventures. You can control your dino. And furthermore, not only that, once you control the dino, you can actually, participate in Pokemon style like battles. All right. So it's a very deep game. Like it's very casual on top, but you can, like it's like Inception, goes deeper and deeper and deeper about what you can do. So this itself, right, we know it's fun for users to do. Like people spend on average 40 minutes a day playing the whole kind of the game experience itself. And when in Steppen, right, who was funding the rewards? The new users, right? Old users were banking, new users were rewarding. For us, we think differently. We eliminate time and we just say, hey, the power users who spent hours and hours like exploring the story, exploring the lore, they are spenders, right? They're going to spend some of that revenue we generate, we then funnel back to the casual users and into user acquisition. So if Steppen was, using the rewards from new users to reward the old ones, we basically, we also like don't give more rewards than we make revenue. Very strategic about that, and we really try to get the core users to really, make the economy fun and sustainable.
So, I mean, it feels like you've been building for 3 years. I wanna go back to some of the early days, and I guess the question is, like, what do you really need to get right in those early stages? Uh, how are you prioritizing what to go focus on?
For the early stages for us, it was just very very quick iterations and very quick pivots. So it was at the very beginning was just me and my buddy who were doing in it. It was all bootstrap. Like at some point I was, minus $30 on my cash, so I could only eat lunch at the Duolingo office. That was like my food for the day, because like the server cost just exploded, and it just like MongoDB decided to like, just like my personal credit card went into like overdraft. And for 3 days and it was like also fun, right? We kind of maybe spent like 15-20K to get the prototype up. We prioritized, very rapid speed, very like bare bones stuff. We start with the water bottle. In 4 weeks, we spoke to the users, realized, it's not going to work. Market too small. We need to pivot towards sleep. We saw, Brian Armstrong has like this from Coinbase, like action produce information. We saw very early on, once we saw information, water bottle suck, let's do sleep. We saw on the sleep side, we saw organic traction in Japan. Like on our Discord in Japan was going like crazy. It was cool action point. So we then translated the app into Japanese very quickly, and then it went even further up in popularity. People started like sharing it more and more organically. We were like trending on Japanese Twitter. Then we thought, hey, why are we trending on Japanese X? Why Japanese do care so much about Sleepagotchi, right? Not, for example, I know the Germans, right? Then we look at the data reports. The Japanese sleep the least amount in the world. Like they sleep on average 6 hours, 15 minutes. And the American, for example, Americans sleep 7 hours, 15 minutes per day. And it's not because the Japanese need, less sleep to function. It's because it's a cultural, systemic issue for them that they acknowledge. And it's even like culturally okay to ask you, how was your sleep last night, right? Whereas it's a little bit awkward to ask like in English. So we realized, oh, wow, okay, there's product market fit here in Japanese. So what do we need to do? Let's try to make it sustainable. Like, let's not put it on chain before we figure out everything up, because once you put the chain, it's out of the door. You can't really change a lot of stuff after that. We thought, okay, we need to make kawaii art style that we think would resonate in Japan even further. And we need to add JRPG elements like the Japanese RPG, like Final Fantasy, like Pokemon, to add it as well, because we know this genre resonates both well in the West and in the East in Japan. So those quick iterations allowed us to really say, hey, okay, this is what we need to build out, or at least this is what looks like what we need to build out. And then like just spend the time setting up the straight team and making sure that we can build on the vision, because building a product and a gaming company at the same time, it's actually tricky. And Web3 company as well. So it's actually
hard. Yeah, Anton, maybe last question before we let you go. I'm curious to get your kind of takes on this tension between gamification, which is really like, how do I addict someone to this product, and also clearly wanting to having a mission to help people sleep, or kind of this like responsible health kind of motivation. So yeah, just curious how you kind of navigate that tension.
Yeah, we don't want okay, let's say you get an extra hour of sleep thanks to Sleepagotchi, which we started seeing the data. Like we see sleep improving in the data. We don't want you to spend this extra hour to play, the Sleepagotchi adventure, for example. That would be weird. It's a constant tension for us. We strategically make our sessions in the morning, so that it doesn't really impact your sleep in the evening, and we want to make the adventure in the evening actually turn black and white. Like we just want to make the app experience black and white in the morning, in the evening after your bedtime, so you're disencouraged to use it. So I would say that's the key focus for us.
Amazing, man. Let's leave it there. Appreciate you hopping on, and really excited to see the growth you guys have had. I love this. Let's check in a couple of months and let's see when you're at the 1 million user mark.
It's great.
Seems
it's a good product too. I was playing with it for a little bit this morning and highly recommend. It's not a kind of low effort kind of token Ponzi. It's really a great game. So you're not joking about that. So I recommend people check it out.
Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing.
See you, man.
Cheers, brother.